Our cover story tonight is about a statement from the Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Shariff, and it's no ordinary statement, by the way. The leader has renewed the peace offer to India. That's right. You know what Shehbaz Shariff says? That the country is prepared to talk, but there is a lot more to that statement. On Gravitas tonight, we ask if Pakistan's financial mess has led to a rethink. And is the offer from the Pakistani leader even genuine, or is it self-serving? We join those dots and get you the bigger picture. Also on the show for you tonight, we tell you all about the game of drones between Russia and Ukraine and why the drone warfare has been making headlines. As the climate crisis intensifies around the world, we tell you how different parts are bearing the brunt of climate change. We get to the latest on the violence at a Palestine refugee camp in Lebanon and tell you what triggered it. Can even a glass of alcohol harm you? How harmful are small quantities of alcohol consumed on a regular basis? We tell you what a new study has said. We are starting the show tonight with some good news for cricket fans. In October this year, India will be facing Pakistan for the Cricket World Cup at Ahmedabad's Narendra Modi Stadium. And as the preparations begin for that much anticipated match, the Pakistani Prime Minister has already started talking peace. In fact, earlier today, he attended a summit in Islamabad and made a rather unusual remark. He offered to collaborate with India for the sake of regional development. And he further added that it's time that they held talks on serious matters because, according to him, war is no more an option. Those were the exact words spoken. Listen to this first.
For the good of both the countries and the people, and similarly with other nations in the world. We have nothing against anybody. We have to look after our own self, build our nation. Even with our neighbor, we are prepared to talk to them, provided that the neighbor is serious to talk serious matters on the table. Because war is no more an option. Pakistan, alhamdulillah, is a nuclear power, not as an aggressor, but for our defense purposes. And we had 3 wars fought in the last 75 years. And what happened? I'm being very honest with you. It generated more poverty, unemployment, and lack of resources to finance education, health, and well-being of the people. So is this the way that we have to adopt? Or to have war of economic competition?
Well, you heard that. We have nothing against anybody. We are prepared to talk to them. War is no more an option. How do we view such remarks? And is this a genuine peace offer, or are there ulterior motives to it? Have the country's financial troubles led to a rethink in Islamabad? Have they forced the Pakistan government to adopt a conciliatory tone towards India? Truth be told, this is not the first time the current Pakistan government has made such an offer. It has done so several times in the past as well. The motives have been mostly selfish. They have either stemmed from the need to improve the country's global image, or from the need to please the international community and global bodies like the IMF and the World Bank. You see, Pakistan's economy is in the doldrums. To start with, its currency is on a bumpy ride to the bottom. Last we checked, it stood at an embarrassing 287 against the dollar. And if we speak of the debt crisis specifically, it remains unresolved. Last month, the Pakistan government's overall debt swelled to 58.6 trillion rupees. And to make matters worse, the deadlines for the debt repayments are nearing. And according to reports, meanwhile, Pakistan has to repay $1 billion to China. $195 million to Saudi Arabia, $189 million to the International Monetary Fund, $56.9 million to the Asian Development Bank, $78.6 million to the World Bank. And besides several debt repayments to other financial institutions, these are the numbers. With such a huge debt burden on its head, it's hardly surprising that Islamabad talks about improving ties with India so that it can project itself as a peaceful nation. You know, lure global banks and countries into bailing it out yet again. But its attempts hardly fool anyone, and definitely not India. India's position remains the same. For any meaningful dialogue to take place, Pakistan must stop pushing terror into India. New Delhi's argument is simple. Talks and terror cannot go hand in hand. If Pakistan indeed wants to talk, it will have to take concrete steps to stop cross-border infiltration, and not to mention the influx of drugs. Remember, just last week, a special assistant on defense to Shehbaz Shariff revealed his country's role in cross-border drug trade. He said in recent months, over 10 kgs of heroin has been tied to drones and sent across the border. Listen to this.
क्या बात दुरुस्त नहीं है कि इस इलाके में ड्रोन के जरिए स्मगलिंग भी होती है?
बिल्कुल, और ये बड़ी तशवीशनाक है। अभी रिसेंटली एक दो इंसिडेंट ऐसे हुए हैं जिसपे 10-10 केजी हीरोइन बांध के ड्रोन्स के ऊपर उसको फेंक रहे हैं बाहर। लगी हुई एजेंसीज रोकने के लिए।
फिर इसलिए शायद उन्होंने मोबाइल फोन जो है उसकी सर्विस इसलिए बंद करते हैं।
उसकी वजह ये है कि सर जब इनको कोई ऐसी इंटेलिजेंस मिलती है तो ये शट ऑफ कर देते हैं, तो इसके बाद फिर तकलीफ रहती है।
And this was just one of the many examples of Pakistan's nefarious activities against India. There are many more, of course, and they range from espionage to honey trapping Indian officers, to pushing separatist agenda, to lobbying against India at global platforms. And despite all of this, Islamabad still has the audacity to talk peace.